Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
No problem. Hi, I'm Michelle DeMarsh. I live in Coldwell Township. I know I sent you guys a letter about some troubles my son's been having at school, and I'm not going to go into all the details of his personal issue, but just that I have concerns for the overall district. I have had 2 kids. My daughter is 21 now, and she's here with us tonight. My son is a junior. With just the ongoing issues of bullying and, for lack of a better word, like sexual assault at the high school, kids getting groped, butts getting grabbed, stuff like that, that happened when I was a kid. And it was just like, boys are being boys, is still happening in 2022. And I have 2 kiddos, my own 2 kiddos, and then 2 neighborhood kiddos who came along tonight. Most of us wearing teal because we're close to teal. Because we wanted to know, it's Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and all 4 of them have reported someone touching them that they didn't want touching them. And sometimes they reported it, and sometimes they didn't because they felt it fell on deaf ears. The incident that I wrote to you guys about, the most concerning part to me was that my child went to a school bus driver, a coach, his teacher, and nothing had been done to help him resolve the issue until it came to a fight. And I just don't want that to happen to other kids. I want them to be heard. And the school districts, I'm a behavior specialist. I now own an autism center, so I'm not out in the schools like I used to be, but I'm all over the place. I've been in all the schools in Monroe County and a bunch in Carbon County. The schools that have the best opportunities with the bullying, and the sexual assault goes with the bullying. It really goes hand in hand. Are the ones that get to the root of it. They don't just worry about the problem, the fight, they worry about how did it get to that point? Let's go backwards and figure out who did what, and let's really work at it. And I really think we have to either find a new program, have some designated people. I was so happy that Mr. Albee and Mr. Jones called me and told me the paths that my child could get to report next time, but he wasn't given those with the teacher. The teacher tried to call guidance and he wasn't able to get to anyone to get the help he needed before it built up to a fight. And I don't want that to happen to any other kids. And I definitely don't want kids touching people without consent. We all don't want that. So if we can find some more programs, I don't know where to find those programs. I will help look, but I'm hoping that you guys feel as strongly as I do and will look to try to help these kids, because I have 4 kids I know in my close proximity are reporting the same thing. It's going on everywhere and we need some help. So I just wanted that to be said publicly.
Thank you, Ms. DeMarsh. Your concerns are important to all of us. And I'm going to let Dr. Robinson take over.
Yes, thank you for coming tonight, Mrs. DeMarsh. We heard you may come. I have to tell you though, your communication went to the board yesterday. However, I was not copied. So I was thankful that one of our board members actually forwarded your concerns last night to me.
I found and plopped the mailing list there.
That's okay. So it's hard sometimes, as you can imagine, to try to help and deal with things if certainly the superintendent doesn't even know. So it was very difficult last night when I got that information, because certainly your letter was concerning to me. But as you can well imagine, you had the opportunity to talk to Mr. Albee today, and certainly Mr. Jones was with me earlier this morning, and we were talking about that communication, trying to figure out exactly, what had occurred and some of the concerns you had. I don't want to speak too much because some of those things are personal of nature. Absolutely. And I don't want to talk about some of the conversation that you had with Mr. Jones. I think we can always agree that there's never enough supports for our children. And we always want to make sure all the ones that we do have in place, that children feel that they have the access to those supports and to all the programs that we certainly in many cases have highlighted here within many of our instructional reports.
My final thing, I know I ran out, but I had 10 seconds.
No, that's fine.
Is that I really think an independent person that's not part of the staff or is sort of part of the staff that all the kids know they can go to would be the most helpful. One of the things that I heard was that they couldn't go because this person is good friends with this teacher and they're never going to believe it. Or this kid's a star on the team and nobody's going to want me to tell this truth about them. And so if we could identify someone in the future that could work to be this person that the whole school knows they can go to safely, that's not a buddy and a chum with everybody else who works here, that might be the way to go. And that was just something I think would help a lot.
I certainly respect that, but our guidance counselors, I feel, are those people along
They're not
with.
available ever. Miss Odom was never available when my daughter was around. I'm not using names,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but she went over and over and over. And when my son was turned away, instead of them saying, go to Mr. Albee, they just said, there's no one here, try again later. Well, to a 16-year-old, there is no later. Now's the time. They don't have that next step. So I do also think that if you guys can have the secretary of guidance say there's no one available right now, go to Mr. Albee or go and make that direct connection. That might be something that would help another kid, but it didn't help my kid. And then he missed 4 days of school for suspension. So, and
That's why I didn't want to bring too many of the other factors up that would be personal to
it's
your child.
okay. I'm not embarrassed. I told them it's never okay to throw hands, but I also recognize sometimes you have to when it comes to the point that you feel frustrated. So I'm trying to walk that line of you shouldn't have, but I understand why you did. So I hope that everybody else doesn't have that issue ever and don't have to deal with that. And I hope you guys can come up with some more solutions because the ones you have aren't quite enough yet. Just more coming. That's all I'm asking. Just keep going. You're not there yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Frabel?
I just wanted to add something. If students or parents don't know where to go, sexual assault, sexual harassment are part of the safe say something reporting system. Those come directly to us. And so if you feel a guidance counselor or someone isn't available to you, please report it. We do get reports from what is obviously students. They're anonymous too, but you can put the names of in there.
So where is that? How do they get to that?
Well,
It's on our website.
and the students are taught about it every year.
I actually did the video for all the students that they had to see.
But it's run by the Safe to Say reporting system. It's run by the Auditor General's office at the state level. The notices, they have a team that deals with those.
Maybe there could be some refreshers in their morning announcements because I think that the stuff that they're taught maybe at the beginning of the year, like they know that all the stuff is out there. I don't know that they remember. You know,
But based on the number of tips that we get and other school districts get, students are aware, but we can always do refreshers. Mr. Jones is happy to do that. But that system's available. Students self-report other things, and again, it's anonymous. You don't have to leave a name, but you can leave a name so that we have more information for an investigation on any incident.
And those reports go immediately right to our cell phones. So it's like 24 hours a day. Our phone can be going off at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. We're getting those reports and dealing with those things.
I will make sure I call the guys know about it.
Thank you.
And Ms. DeMarsh, I do want to say we have spoken to Mr. Jones when we were there the other day about the availability of our guidance counselors, not only in our West building, but all of them. As a parent, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I assure you the district is on top of that. Anybody else for public?